representing Team Popping the Boys, the headline god, Jeremy Lambert, and his co-host, speaking out of Atlanta, Georgia, representing more than one royal family, the king of indie viewing, Stephen Jensen. And this is the Spotlight on Fightful.
Welcome everyone to the Spotlight here on Fightful. I'm Jeremy Lambert, that's Stephen Jensen, and shout out as always to Big Dick MLJ for the intro. It is Thursday, September 18th, and it's an action-packed weekend, Jensen. It's already kind of kicked off with all the media going on this week, but on Saturday, it is AEW All Out. It is Wrestlepalooza. It is the first WWE show on ESPN. A lot to talk about in the world of wrestling. Jensen, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. A lot has happened because we took last week off. I won't kill too much time talking about my Vikings with y'all, but the vibes were great. Coming out of the first game, even though the first three quarters didn't look very good. JJ McCarthy really turned it up in the fourth. Looked great. Looked like he had just needed his confidence, got the jitters out, and was good to go. And then week two rolled around, and it was not good for pretty much anything. And that all happened within a week-long span because they played Monday and then again on Sunday. So all that has happened since I have seen y'all last. I've not given up hope, but of course JJ is hurt already again. So that isn't great, but looking forward to seeing what Carson Wentz can do with my Minnesota Vikings. That's who we're rolling with, Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is the backup. All right. I mean, we'll see what Carson Wentz has. Yeah, I watched both games actually because one was Monday night, one was Sunday night, so they're both primetime games, so it was easy access to those games. And yeah, the first game did not look great for them until the third quarter, and then come to find out the Bears might not be very good anyway. And then the second game just didn't look great all game. I have no room to talk. The Panthers are a trash fire as usual, as Will in the chat is pointing out. They've been bad for many years now, and they're bad again this year. We play Atlanta this week. I don't feel like that's going to be very pretty. So, yeah, Panthers suck.
Yeah, I mean, we lost to Atlanta. Yeah, they're decent. I mean, I think the Vikings also just played really bad. Also, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because obviously you have very high hopes coming into the season, but at least for you guys, Bryce Young started looking better at least towards the end of this past game. So I don't know. Hopefully our seasons get better, but we'll see what Carson Wentz winds up doing for the Vikings. I don't know. There's half the league is starting backup quarterbacks this week. It's crazy.
Injuries are always insane in the NFL. It feels like a top player goes down every single week. And I don't know what they're supposed to do about that because they cut back on the preseason to that's why. And then that hasn't really helped anything. At the end of the day, it's a physical sport there's padding and everything, but from the waist down, there ain't a whole lot of padding on there. And you're running into each other on many plays. I know a quarterback doesn't get hit every play. A running back doesn't get hit almost every play unless they're blocking and everything. And receivers don't get hit every play. But guys are running into each other nearly every play. You're bound to have a fair number of injuries when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, it's crazy because we talk about in wrestling pretty often how a lot of these injuries happen on small things, in wrestling where it's something like Adam Cole, just small jump off the entrance ramp, destroys his ankle for over a year. Someone just kind of bumps wrong or kind of hits someone's knee while it's sideways in the wrong position, puts all their body weight on it or something. It's the same thing for the NFL. A lot of this stuff doesn't even look it looks very routine. It's just a super dangerous sport with the biggest, strongest super athletes playing it and hit it. We forget sometimes that even though these guys are in pads, these guys are out there hitting each other. So, yeah, but it's because it's also like with the quarterback specifically, like they've given them such a strike zone that they're even allowed to hit them in, and like it's still like you can't just keep making that smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? It's like they already can't hit them in the ankles. They already can't hit them like too high. They have to hit them like in a really specific spot pretty much at this point to not get a penalty. And then they also can't quote unquote like use their body weight to like tackle them into the ground, or that's a penalty too. Like they have to pretty much let up once they hit them. They can't like drive them into the ground. So it's like they already have all these advantages like to try to protect the quarterbacks, but even that, for whatever reason, especially this season, it isn't working because all these quarterbacks are out. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how the season continues to unfold. We do have a game tonight, Bills and Dolphins. That should be a bloodbath, you know.
Yeah.
I like watching the Bills play though. The Bills play exciting football, and they're gonna score some points and maybe give up some points, but they tend to have exciting games.
Yeah, I mean Josh Allen's the man. That's real interesting in Miami. I could talk about that for a while, but like just a few years ago, their head coach Mike McDaniel's like it was like the vibes were like riding high. Like he was like hitting the vape pen on the sidelines, like cool coach, you know, like the guy who made it from like equipment manager all the way to head coach of a team. Like, you know, like basically like kid grew up playing Madden. He's like using Tyreek Hill to just run like these Madden routes that nobody can stop and all this stuff. And like 3 years later, it's like they're having team meetings after the first game. McDaniel's on the hot seat, like Tyreek's requesting a trade, Jalen Waddle's hurt. Like, yeah, that's a mess right now. I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to be on that team by the end of the season. I think either him or McDaniel, one of the two, if not both, will not be on that team by the end of this year, I don't think.
No, I think Tyreek Hill is gone at the trade deadline because there's still some value. We saw it last year where a lot of receivers got moved around at the deadline. And so I feel like receiver, it seems like the easiest position to just sort of move guys around. And I'm not saying like all these receivers turned into big time contributors for their teams or anything, but it seems like that's the easiest position to just move guys around because they do have a lot of money, so you can kind of make it work cap wise with everything. You kind of know what you're getting as far as okay, as long as you learn the routes to run, like you're good. You know, offensive line, you want consistency on the offensive line. So adding a new offensive lineman in the middle of the season breaks up kind of that consistency. Quarterback, you got to learn whole new systems and everything. That's why you don't see a ton of quarterbacks like change teams in the middle of the season. And defensive players, sort of the same thing where like are you going to be the right fit for the scheme? How are you going to work in middle of the season? I mean, the NFL trade deadline is pretty low key anyway. Like there's not a whole lot happening at the NFL trade deadline, but it seems like more often than not, if something happens, receivers get traded.
Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill definitely could be one of them because like they're saying they don't want to trade him, but he's publicly like even last season towards the end of the year he was like literally talking about wanting to get traded. Like, so apparently teams have called for him, like asking if the team is interested. They're saying no, but yeah, if something doesn't turn around quick, because the other problem with that team is that I really hate saying this, it's just the truth. Like, and everyone, it's always in the back of everyone's mind. Like Tua can be one hit away from being done, like at any time with like his concussion history. So it's like very, very fragile situation there too, because like when he isn't playing, the team is even like way worse than this. Like A-Chain like can't do anything if Tua is not playing, and so it's like, yeah, they're in a really they're in a crazy situation. But that game is tonight against the team that's possibly the best team in the NFL in the Bills. So yeah, I'd probably go with the Bills if anyone's like making picks out there. But
all right, let's get into the pro wrestling.
Yes, let's
Over 1 million fans and a great number in the demo tuned in. It was a great show, and I think it's been a run of great shows.
We're going to start with AEW All Out because AEW All Out is the first show this weekend. It is 3 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. if you're going to watch Tailgate Brawl, which is on TNT ahead of the event. 3 p.m. Eastern, AEW All Out. We know that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage against FTR is opening the show. I thought this might headline the show, but Tony Khan confirmed that this will open the show. What do you think of this match? What do you think of that segment last night between these 4 men?
So, I mean, I like what they've done, like, for the most part. Like, I think the match is going to be good. I think it makes sense for them to open the show, especially because, like, everyone's going to be singing Copeland's theme song and everything. The crowd's going to be, like, really hot to start the show. I thought the back and forth with them was, I mean, it was pretty good. Like, Copeland, like, the dynamic between Copeland and Christian is interesting because they still aren't, like, like, they're, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not really friends still. So it's like they kind of stand with, like, their backs to one another as they're, you know, kind of giving their delivery. But yeah, I mean, I think the match is going to be really good. Like, this is obviously something that people, like, have had in mind for a really long time, is these two teams wrestling each other. So much so that, like, it feels like they, like, kind of rushed out of the patriarchy thing, and, like, Kill Switch is kind of like, there's a whole, we'll get into that probably at some point also with Kill Switch, because that's all, like, a whole other thing with the patriarchy now and what's going on with them. But yeah, like, I guess the only thing that I was confused about was why they didn't do this for the titles. That doesn't really matter, I guess, really, at the end of the day. But, like, you know, I just kind of feel like Cope and Christian are going to get a tag title run. You're just kind of, like, prolonging it probably by not doing it. And it's like their home crowd and everything. It kind of just would, like, make sense if they were going to do it, to just do it there probably. But, you know, that's nitpicking though. We're still getting the match. I think it's going to be a really good match.
I don't know if they're going to get a title run, honestly. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I think they've got a good thing with Brodito right now. And this match certainly didn't need a title. You know, when we were all kind of armchair quarterback booking Forbidden Doors, like, oh, FTR is going to win to set up facing Cope and Christian for the titles, and then they didn't win until this does have a title. It's like, oh, that's probably the better decision anyway, because I don't think this match ever needed a title, and I'm glad that it doesn't have a title. And I don't know if we're just going to see Cope and Christian just get a tag team title run for the sake of getting a tag team title run. They got a lot of good teams in AEW. You don't have to put the belts on them just to put the belts on them. It's not the end of the world.
True. I mean, you're not wrong about that. And even the teams that they kind of, like the Bang Bang Gang, for instance, like Juice and Austin Gunn are, like, they were a solid team last night. Like, it's, like, random because they don't usually team, but it isn't random because they're a part of the same stable. So, like, you know, even those kind of teams work out well. And I think, like, do you think that Jungle Boy is going to return and like save Luchasaurus, and, like, they're going to team up again?
I hope so. I'm ready for my guy, Jack Perry. Ready to ejaculate with Jack Perry on Saturday.
Yeah. So, like, you know, that's another tag team right there that'd be in the mix, potentially. And I hope that happens too. People are going to want to hear Tarzan Boy. Like, you know, people get mark out huge to hear that again. I guess I just feel like it's a foregone conclusion that Cope and Christian have to win this match. But, like, is it? Like, do you have Edge and Cope and Christian winning this match?
Yeah, I think they win this match. I'd be surprised if they did not win this match. Like, honestly, this in Toronto, hometown, and everything, like, you get really good heat on FTR, but I don't know if they're gonna get another match in Toronto, because Cope's already talked about he's kind of winding down. He wants his last match to be in Toronto, so the hope is he does get one more match in Toronto. But what does that match look like? And you never know with injuries. I mean, you never know just what the landscape is going to be in a year, 2 years, whenever he might decide that, okay, I'm done with everything. You have this match on Saturday. So I think they're gonna win. I don't think FTR losing would be a terrible thing though, because the heat would be outrageous for them, because they were very over in, I guess they very much got a lot of heat last night, to the point where the boos last night, like, I thought it was piped in. I was like, this cannot be the actual audio. Like, this is way too high of a level for this to be the actual audio. But it was the actual audio. It was a compliment, not a diss or anything. Like, FTR generated a lot of heat last night, and I think you'd get just as much as if they win on Saturday.
Speaking of not piped in, Jeremy, you didn't even know about this. This is a perfect segue. I needed a reason to bring this up at some point today. I did wear my Bobby Roode t-shirt today.
Oh.
Speaking of not piped in noise, I had to represent today for the glorious Bobby Roode. I saw the clip of him showing up on NXT, and I have never seen that. I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years. I've never seen that before. We're just no noise, and he was like looking. He looked for the pop. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
I've never seen that, because you had to really listen and be like, wait a second, is there just no crowd reaction? But then Joe Hendry comes out, and like there you can hear them like singing his song in the background. It's like, oh no, there's fans there, and you'd hear the noise. That was, I couldn't believe, I dug this shirt out from, like, this thing was buried for a year. I've had this thing since obviously like the NXT run, the original NXT run, where people knew who he was. Oh man, that's so bad. Anyways, no. So as far as this match, we're both going Cope and Christian. Or Christian and Cope, according to Christian.
Christian's correct. Yes.
Oh, and also, by the way, speaking of the promo, Edge mentioned the spotlight like 5 times. Your boy.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Yeah. Cash also said spotlight and not wanting to share the spotlight with Cope, and Cope wanted to hog the spotlight, as he is wont to do. I thought Cash was great last night. They were all 4 men were very good. Even Christian, he didn't say much, but I really liked his show to the point promo. But I thought Cash was really, really strong last night.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Cash and Cope share a barber as well, I believe. They got the same exact flow, like that mullet thing. And they were standing like face to face. I was like, these guys look like, because he was like, I let you share my house with me, and I was just thinking, like, you let me share your barber also, like, because you're rocking the same exact haircut. But so from there, like, if you don't think Cope and Christian are gonna win, or Christian and Cope are gonna win the championships, like, where do they go from attack? Like, they beat FTR, which is obviously a big win, and like at home. Like, obviously, next you would assume that they'd be like in line for like a title shot or like another big tag team match, probably, right? Like, what do you think they do after that?
If they win, going into a tag team match would make sense. A tag team title match would make sense with Brodito, assuming they win the ladder match as well. But I could also see, I mean, unfortunately, Nick Wayne's hurt right now.
Right.
Because doing something there, they kind of ended it with Luchasaurus and Kip Sabian at All In, or at Forbidden Door. But I think maybe they wanted to, you want Nick Wayne involved in that in some capacity. You want Christian to get kind of his revenge on Nick Wayne, although I guess him saying, you know, well, you injured your ankle, I don't have to deal with you anymore. I wouldn't be shocked if no matter who wins this match, we get a rematch between these two teams and they do some type of gimmick style match. Maybe it's a ladder match, maybe it's a TLC match. That would not shock me, though, if we get a rematch coming off of this match, no matter who wins. And that's why I think it's possible FTR does win, because then you do the rematch and you do a TLC style match.
I'm with it. I think we're gonna get some good. I think we're gonna get matches out of these teams, though. But I'm gonna go with go with Cope and Christian also.
I'm going Cope and Christian. Coffin match, Darby Allin and Jon Moxley.
Yeah, so like they shouldn't prolong this anymore, right? Like this should just be like Darby just wins this here, like just win the coffin match. Like I don't know what you do with the Death Riders going forward, but obviously you got something going there with Daniel Garcia, like recently joined the group. I don't think that's gonna like end anytime soon. Like, but like I guess I'm conflicted because it's like how do you continue momentum for that whole thing, but also Darby Allin beats Jon Moxley in a coffin match, but at the same time I don't want to see Darby Allin like tied up with this forever either. Like this story has been going on for a really long time, and at some point there's got to be a payoff, and at some point Darby's got to like, you know, move towards the AEW championship, which I feel like was the plan for a really long time, and got prolonged because of the Everest climb. So like, I'm gonna go with Darby Allin, and it's also like, you know, a bunch of crazy stuff's going to wind up happening in this match, obviously. So, like, neither guy's going to look bad losing. So, and Darby also mentioned Sting yesterday during his promo. So, hopefully we get a Sting appearance. I'm always hoping, you know, always hoping for Sting. Yeah, I'm going to go Darby Allin. What about you?
I think Darby's going to win. I'm very curious of what the promise of what Bryan Danielson whispered to Darby last night. Maybe it is just beat Moxley, put him in the ground type of thing. Maybe it's that simple, and that's what Darby is going to do. I think Darby should win, though. He's on the ascension right now, but with Daniel Garcia joining the Death Riders and kind of breathing a little bit of new life into that group, Jon Moxley losing makes it look like, okay, is he on the way out of the Death Riders? Is he not the guy to lead the Death Riders? If he loses. Now, if he wins, then you kind of maintain status quo of, okay, Moxley's the guy. Now he's got Garcia along with Yuta, along with Claudio. I don't know when Pac's going to be back, but he's got those three riding with him, and Moxley can continue to, maybe gets back into the world title picture. I don't know if anyone is fully on board with that just yet, but I think there's ways you can go no matter who wins this match. My gut is saying Darby should win because he feels more on the ascent right now, and if Moxley loses, it's fine. He's not going to lose too much out of it. But Garcia joining the Death Riders and then having Moxley lose also feels like you can't quite do that just yet. You can, obviously, but it feels like maybe you can't just because it feels like now the Death Riders do have the new life with Garcia, and so having Moxley lose kind of takes it away from them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like they took a step forward with Garcia joining the group, but it'd be kind of like two steps back for like their leader to like immediately lose a huge match right after the but like we're both saying, I mean, regardless of who wins the match, it's a coffin match, so it's like some crazy stuff's gonna like probably happen for the finish of this match. Like someone's probably gonna fall off something super high, like through something into the coffin, or like if not, like Darby's gonna jump off. So, like the last time we saw, like, I'll never forget Sting's final match when Darby jumped off that ladder through the glass on the outside. Like Darby's gonna, like, he'll do anything. Like, and you have all those Death Riders. You have, I mean, you have a bunch of AEW, like, you know, people like I said, Sting earlier, but also like pretty much any baby face in the back. The ops, you know, there's people who can help even the odds for Darby. So yeah, but I'm gonna go Darby Allin. I think I just feel like he should win the match. I just don't want them to like it's not the worst thing in the world to prolong it potentially. Like when's Wrestle Dream?
October. I'll double check exactly when.
Because like you could do like Darby and Mox would be like a big match, like a Wrestle Dream potentially.
October 18th.
Okay. I mean, like that'd be my one caveat, I guess. I'd have Darby Allin win here, and if he doesn't win here, I'd have him win a rematch at Wrestle Dream.
Okay. I don't know if you need to do a rematch after a coffin match, though.
I
seems a little
agree.
backwards.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, that's the only thing I can, like, justify it with is, like, if Darby eventually gets, like, the win. Like, where is Wrestle Dream this year? Is
It's
it
in St. Louis? No, it's not in
It's St.
Washington.
Louis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that also changes it up a little bit, too. Like, I was like, associating it with, like, Seattle. Yeah. Yep, I'd have Darby just win this. I'm going to stick with Darby.
AEW Women's Title match: Toni Storm, Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and Thekla.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Toni to retain, but I think it's gonna be a good match. A lot of talented women there. They're gonna have to kind of figure out kind of what to do with the rest of them following this, and also probably get a game plan of like who is eventually going to beat Toni. But whoever does it, I feel like Toni has built up herself, and this is a compliment. Like I think like she's built herself in the championship and everything to like a higher level than like the. I think she has. How do I say this? I think Toni Storm has been I guess like on paper, like the best, probably AEW women's champion that they've had as far as like the amount of great matches, the character work, how over she is, however she like stays, multiple title reigns, like she's probably like I think she's brought the division to like a level that hadn't been there until she like brought it there. Like so I feel like whoever beats her one-on-one for the championship, like it really needs to be a big deal, and it should be one-on-one. It shouldn't be in like a four-way match like this. So it's nothing against any of the other women in the match. I think all of them are super talented, but like I just see no reason to have Toni Storm lose the title right now or to lose it in a four-way match. So I'm going to go with Toni Storm.
I think this is where Toni Storm loses the title. I think it's going to be Statlander, and she might get help from the Death Riders, whether she wants it or not. It might be a thing of they help her and she is like hesitant, but ultimately accepting. It might be they help her and she doesn't even realize that they helped her, but she just takes advantage of the help. And I think she wins the title off of this. And this is how they get the title off of Toni. I agree with you. It should be one-on-one. That's the way when you have a reign like this makes the most sense to end it. But there's also a good story there with Statlander and the Death Riders and the help that she could be getting. Because it's a no DQ match, because it's a four-way match, it's easier to play them into this match than a one-on-one match, because you'll probably get Triangle of Madness interfering as well. And yeah, I think this might be the end of Toni's reign. I think she should win, mind you. I'm in agreement of one-on-one. That's how a reign like this should end. But I could very easily see a scenario where this is how the reign ends.
I understand your line of thinking. If they're going to take the championship off of her, like she also, I doubt she'd be the one taking the pinfall or the submission, like in a four-way match. So she's also quote unquote protected as well coming out of that, not really losing the title in a situation like this too. But no, I understand what you're saying. I liked the Death Riders Statlander idea too. Like I think that that's totally possible, and it would make sense. And I like Chris Statlander a lot. Like, I think she's one of the most talented women in all of wrestling, to be honest. And she was one of the top women on the indie scene pre-AEW. Like, she was the IWTV Independent Wrestling World Champion at one point. Like, she was really damn good. And she hasn't even hit her prime yet. So, like, I'm all for Chris Statlander being the AEW Women's World Champion and being, like, the face of that division. Like, I got no problem with that. But I'd prefer her to just beat Toni Storm one-on-one, though, if they're going to go with her.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't know. We shall see this Saturday, AEW All Out. TBS title, Mercedes Moné against Rio.
Yeah, no way Mercedes is losing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty foregone conclusion.
I like Rio. She's not winning this title here.
Yeah. I mean, Rio's always got claim to, she was the first ever AEW Women's World Champion. Her action figures might still be on the pegs at your local Targets and Walmarts. Like, you might be able to find them still from, like, one of the first series. Like, I still see them occasionally. So So yeah, and I own the figure, by the way. Like I have Riho in my collection. Don't worry. I also have Mercedes Moné in my collection. I've got the special edition off AEW Shop, Mercedes Moné. Very cool. It's very similar to the Sting that you were so gracious to get me when you bought me that Sting, or got me that Sting. Same kind of thing with like the little limited edition sticker or whatever. Anyways, Mercedes Moné is not losing, and I doubt that anybody expects Riho to win this match.
4-way ladder match for the tag team championships. It is Brody King and Bandito, the champions, against the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander and Hechicero.
So first off, I'll say I really have liked the whole like Young Bucks arc of like them losing it all, and like now they're like throwing the money away again, like. So I was really skeptical when that whole angle started with like them like messing with their theme music and stuff like that. I thought it was gonna be like really corny really quickly, and it like wound up. And now they're actually like incorporating BTE again, which that's cool. That's cool too. BTE, for people who may not know or may not like remember or may not have been watching AEW or whatever, like BTE is pretty much what was carrying the storylines like pre-AEW, when like AEW started, when they didn't have TV, when most of these guys were in like, Ring of Honor or New Japan or like floating around on the indie scene. Like they were pushing storylines and selling merch and really revolutionizing like the whole like kind of independent contractor scene of wrestling, like through BTE. So it's cool to see that they've revived that, and once again, they incorporate their current characters into that BTE show now. I like all the teams. Hechicero and Josh Alexander aren't going to win, but I like both guys. I like Don Callis' family's handprints kind of being like all over the show. Jet Speed, both guys are great. But it's just, I just highly doubt that they're going to take the titles off of Brodito. So I'm going to go with them. I just can't think of any reason why they really take the titles off of them at the moment. So I'm going to go with them, I think.
Yeah, I think Brodito is going to win as well. There's no, they just won the titles. Unless you're going to put them back on the Bucks, which feels a little bit too soon of like the redemption arc of getting back to the titles after falling on hard times for 2 months. And they got the hope spot with the money. I don't think you need to go the extra step of now putting the titles on them as well. I would keep them on Brodito and go from there, because I think they got a good thing with Brodito.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll see
I'm with
Jack
you.
Perry in this match. Maybe he'll stab the Young Bucks in this match.
Yeah, there's maybe. Also, I do want to see the Young Bucks have like that full. Not that they have to win the championships again. They've already accomplished more than most tag teams ever in the history of wrestling. But them versus Cope and Christian, that is something I'd like to see. So, if the titles were involved in that, I wouldn't hate that either. Just throwing it out there. But I'm gonna go with Brodito.
AEW Unified Title: Okada against Takeshita against Mascaro Dorada.
So I personally just want to see Okada versus Takeshita 1-on-1, but I like Dorada. He has really good matches. His match last night was really good. It's similar to Tony Storm in a lot of ways. I just don't see Okada losing this championship in anything other than a 1-on-1 match. I just don't think that it would make sense, especially with them recently unifying the Continental and international championships. I just don't think that. I'm not opposed at all to Takeshita becoming the champion. By the way, I like Takeshita a lot. I know we both have praised Takeshita a lot. I just don't see them taking the title off Okada in a three-way match. If this was 1-on-1, I'd be a lot more skeptical. I think that Takeshita might have a better chance if it was 1-on-1. I might be leaning a little more towards him, but I'm going to go with Okada to retain again.
I think Okada is going to retain as well. I am curious of the continued tension between Okada and Takeshita because we are going to get a one-on-one match between them at some point. And obviously that'll play into a little bit here. You know, maybe Takeshita is the guy who seemingly has it won, and then Okada gets the pinfall out of it. But I look forward to the exchanges between these two during this match. Although Dorado's fantastic, and he had a very good match against Beast Mortos last night, and that dive that he hit on Okada afterwards was really cool looking. And God bless Okada for catching him in that suit.
I was watching the show with my brother last night, and my brother was a big fan of Black Taurus, and that there was a really good tag team match last night on the show, and when it was over, my brother was like, "Oh, was that the main event?" I was like, "Oh no, there's still it's a long show tonight," and he was like, "The hell are they gonna do to top that?" And then he saw Mortos, and he knew it's the same guy. He's like, "Oh, that's how they're gonna top it." Okay, nice. And I was like, "Yeah, Mortos is awesome. That guy rules." I was so confused when I saw that other Taurus pop up in AAA the other week. For a few seconds. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think we talked about that. That's so funny how they just use because if I'm not mistaken, I could be totally wrong and be misremembering this, but I'm almost positive Mascara Dorada at one point was Grand Metalik, who is now just Metalik again. But they switch up, and the La Parka, the current La Parka is not the La Parka from WCW or the other La Parka that was playing the La Parka from WCW. It gets so confusing, but nonetheless, the wrestling's great, so I'm not complaining. But just gets kind of confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot of the lucha lore where the gimmicks can just be passed down to various people, and it's like, all right, who's the original here? It can get confusing for people who are not following it, and it can get confusing for people who are following it.
Yeah, I always wish that Blitzkrieg lived on. Blitzkrieg from WCW was the man, and then Jack Evans did Blitzkrieg a couple times. I remember maybe a couple times, and then just kind of guy just disappeared. He just showed up in WCW, had insane banger cruiserweight matches for a couple years, and just bounced from wrestling. Just you gotta respect it, but guys like that. Anyways, it's gonna make me think about WCW now, but
thumbtacks and tables match, MJF and Mark Briscoe.
So I got to go MJF over and over and over again because I feel like he's gonna possibly be the next AEW World Champion or back in the. I mean, he's got the title shot still, but at some point you also feel like Mark Briscoe's got to win one of these, right? So it's is this the one where he because there's a good excuse too. If MJF loses this, it's a thumbtacks and tables match that MJF didn't want to have. I thought that was really funny. His in the trailer with Tony Khan on the show when you can hear him. He's like, "Oh, now you're gonna be a boss today. You're gonna choose to be a boss." I thought that was really funny. I mean, I'm gonna stick with MJF just because it's inevitable that he's gonna be back in the title scene. But are you gonna go with Mark Briscoe here?
I think Mark Briscoe has to win. MJF has gotten up on him seemingly every turn. I mean, he beat him in the match, and then he almost lit him on fire. I know Briscoe kind of cost him the title at All In or at Forbidden Door. I keep forgetting that the Forbidden Door is between All In and All Out this year because that's usually not the case. I know it cost them the match at Forbidden Door, but it didn't feel like that was a Mark Briscoe moment of things. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like that was, oh, Mark Briscoe was the reason you lost that match. It felt more like MJF being stupid and not kicking Hangman's foot off the ropes was more of a reason that he lost the match than Briscoe coming down there. It just feels like MJF has gotten over on Briscoe at the most pivotal points in this. And so Mark Briscoe needs to get this win.
Okay, I do not disagree. I'm going to stick with MJF, but once again, but also similar to Money in the Bank, which we've talked about before. But like, I mean, MJF could lose the next 100 matches. It doesn't really matter because he can cash in his title shot and become the champion at any point, except he does have to do that 1 week thing, which I don't really like. It's really weird how they shoehorn that whole like concept in there after he had already had the Hangman match. Like, so I kind of on MJF's side, even though like, you know, he's like the dastardly heel that like we shouldn't be sympathizing with, but like I am like, yeah, he kind of did get screwed in that whole thing. Like that, those terms should have been, you know, set in stone, you know, before he won the contract, but it is what it is.
Big Bill against a returning Eddie Kingston.
So, I mean, how long has it been for Eddie now? Over a year.
Yeah, since May of last year.
Almost a year and a half. Yeah. I mean, that pop's going to be massive. It seems like such a random match, but I'm really happy that he's coming back. Like Eddie Kingston in the mix, you have, you know, I know people have made this comparison, and you know, and I kind of agree. Like he's kind of like almost like the Mick Foley of like AEW. Like he's like the guy who comes in who just he looks kind of like the everyman. Like he's not in the best shape, but like he looks like he can kick ass. And he's always over. He's super relatable to the fans. He has really good matches. He works his ass off. You tell he really, really cares. And he's the kind of guy that, like, we all want to see win the championship, even if it's for one night. Like, Eddie Kingston winning the world title would be a huge AEW moment, even if he lost it on the next episode of Dynamite or whatever. Like, which is a great position to be in. Like, when you think about the Attitude Era, it's like, Austin, Rock, and then the next guy I put there is Mick Foley. Like, you know, you can make arguments about some other guys, but like he was right in the mix with those dudes. And that's kind of how I see Eddie Kingston in AEW. Like when he comes back, it's great for the company, it's great for the fans. And you have yourself an immediate like main event level guy who you can plug into literally any situation. And he has history with so many of the top people in the company that like you can immediately have him go like one-on-one with Jon Moxley and it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot of stuff you can do with him. So I think he kind of comes in, has more or less like a warm-up match, like to get back in the groove against Big Bill. And I think Eddie Kingston gets the win. But I'll also say that, like I've said it a trillion times, and I Big Bill, I do think that like they should do something with him. Like I don't know how. Do you have any idea how long he signed AEW for, Big Bill?
No.
Because, like, unless he's, like, heading back to the WWE, and if I was the WWE, I would want him back badly. But, like, if he's not heading back there anytime soon, I really feel like AEW's got to figure something out with him. Or, like, have him and Brian Keith, like, really make a run in the tag team division or something. Like, I don't love the idea of Big Bill, like, going out and losing a whole lot in singles matches personally, but like it's Eddie Kingston. I'm definitely going with the Mad King to come back and win this match.
Yeah, I think that Eddie Kingston is going to win. I look forward to it. I don't think it's going to be a very long match, but I think it's going to be for what it is, very good, hard hitting, straight into the point. You know, Eddie Kingston, very meat and potatoes wrestler, and Big Bill's a guy who's going to match that with him. So I'm actually like really looking forward to this match.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's going to go at him. Kind of like the Eddie Kingston CM Punk match where he just like goes straight at him, just starts going for like spinning back fists and kind of get into a corner. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this also. I'm really looking forward to like the return pop for when Kingston's music hits.
The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP against Ricochet and Gates of Agony.
I'm going to go Hurt Syndicate, and I it probably was Fightful Select because I think I got like email notifications about it. But like, I guess there's been more speculation. I guess there's always speculation about the Hurt Syndicate having more people join because like there's always the idea of Cedric Alexander joining at any time. It feels like But maybe this is a night where like another member joins or something, or I don't know. I just don't really, I really like what Ricochet is doing as a heel. Like I think he's like kind of like nerdy, annoying, like character works really, really well. With like that crazy contrast of like him being so athletic and insanely good in the ring that he can like be super nerdy, but like run circles around you. I just don't really see the Hurt Syndicate like really losing to like many teams. Like I can't really think of many people that AEW could put in front of them that I'd probably choose against the Hurt Syndicate, honestly. So I'm gonna be going with them.
I think the Hurt Syndicate will win. Maybe this is where they add another member. Not sure. Like you mentioned, I don't even know who that would be. If it's another member, like is it going to be kind of a younger talent that maybe not on the radar right now, or is it going to be a more established talent that maybe again we're not even thinking of? I'm trying to rack my brain of who it might be, and I can't off the top of my head.
So I've always got Lio Rush in the back of my mind because of his history with Bobby Lashley. Like I always feel like it doesn't make sense, but I know that him and Action Andretti like have a thing going. But like I don't know. I feel like Lio. Yeah, you can bail off that if you want to. But I thought that Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley was like a great pairing when that for the short time that it lasted in WWE. So I wouldn't mind him joining the Hurt Syndicate just as an idea.
All right, I could possibly see that of Lio Rush. Yeah, you can split his team with Action Andretti. Sorry to Action Andretti, that just ain't going very far. It should be hologram in the Hurt Syndicate.
Hologram with the Hurt Syndicate. It's wild how they just bailed on the MJF thing. Just one episode, Shelton Benjamin is just like, this looks fake as shit, man. Like, take this watch back. Get out of our group. And it was just like, that was it. And then people were like, well, maybe it's like a red herring because like at the pay-per-view, like maybe the Hurt Syndicate will help him. And like that, just none of that happened. And like Hurt Syndicate's got nothing to do with MJF now. Yeah, I don't know who else would really make sense to join the group, to be completely honest. I don't feel like you actually need to add group members, honestly, but like if they're going to, guys like Lio Rush and Cedric Alexander make sense mainly because like they have history with the actual group or members of the group already. Where's Charlie Haas at? Shelton Benjamin's former partner. Yeah, like I don't
think you're gonna see anything. With
I'm just throwing out like who else we got? Where's Matt Hardy? Remember Matt Hardy and MVP? Like, I know Matt Hardy's in TNA, but like, him and MVP used to be a tag team. Remember that? MVP was also the U.S. champion at the same time. I remember those days, everybody.
Go check out the interview we did with Gates of Agony today on In the Weeds. They joined the show and fun 15 minutes with them. So I'm hoping they win just because they were kind enough to come on our show. That's I'm biased like that, but I don't think they're going to win.
Hey, that's fair enough. I've done plenty of that. I choose Cole Radrick in every scenario, and Cody Rhodes, obviously.
And the final match, the what I assume will main event now because it's not going to be Christian and Cope against FTR. Hangman Page against Kyle Fletcher.
So this match just like continues to reinforce my whole argument that I've been making for a while that the TNT Championship just doesn't need to exist. Like, what's the point of having the TNT Champion go into this match, lose this match, and then like go on to continue to defend that TNT Championship as if like we all didn't just see you lose. Like, I know you'd be losing to the world champion. I get that. But like, I don't think there's any market of like fans that are clamoring for this concept that AEW's like really trying to push of like, can Kyle Fletcher become the first ever TNT and world champion at the same time? Like, I don't think anybody wants to see that. Listen, Kyle Fletcher, I think has a ton of talent. I think at some point he absolutely could be I would bet that he will be the AEW World Champion at some point. And I think that, when that day comes, like, I'll be happy for him when it happens. Like, but it's like just very clear that's not happening here. And it's also at the expense of this championship that, like, already nobody cared about. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it makes the title look lame. It kind of makes Kyle Fletcher look lame in the process. And like, I'm 1,000,000,000% going with Hangman Page to retain.
Yeah, I think Hangman's gonna retain. I think the feud has been good though. I really like their promo last night. I thought the contract signing promo was very, very strong, and the closing angle was about as good as you're gonna do with a match where the finish isn't totally in doubt. I do think it's not quite Fletcher's time, but I do think he's strongly established himself as a main event guy coming out of this, and I think he's elevated the TNT title coming out of this. And now after this, it is up to continue to be him, but also the company to keep the TNT title elevated and not just fall back into a holding pattern of nothing, which it was for almost the last year before Fletcher got it.
I mean, for them to do that, they would really have to like Fletcher loses to Hangman and then defends that championship consistently for the next like 6 months without losing a match. You know what I mean? Like, they have to like massively protect Fletcher coming out of this, in my opinion. But I don't disagree with anything you said. Like, I mean, he looks like a credible challenger, but I don't think anybody buys that he's going to become the world champion on this show. It seems kind of like a random All Out main event, but I think it's going to be a really damn good match. Like, Kyle Fletcher's fantastic in the ring, and Hangman's like one of the best, like legitimately like one of my favorite professional wrestlers of the last like decade is Hangman Page. I really, really like his character, and I like that he's a champion. I like the reception he gets, and like he's the right guy to be the champion right now for a lot of reasons. So yeah, I'm going to definitely go with Hangman Page to retain the championship. I mean, he took that bump was risky at the end of the show last night, like that you were saying, like that final like attack there at the end of the show when Fletcher put Hangman through the table with like that brain buster on the outside. It's a sketchy. I mean, like, you see that kind of stuff all the time, obviously, but like, don't want anyone getting hurt right before the main event of your pay-per-view. So I was like, just making sure everyone was okay coming out of that. Everyone looked good to go. So yeah, I'm assuming you're going Hangman also.
Yeah, I think the pay-per-view overall will be very good. In-ring AEW most of the time, 9 out of 10 times delivers in-ring. And usually if there's any issues with the pay-per-view, it's questionable calls as far as booking decisions at the end or just a flat ending, something like that. But in-ring, the show typically delivers. So I think it'll be a good show. They're on a run of great shows. They're on a run of great pay-per-views. I think this will continue to add to that.
Yeah. Also, just worth mentioning real quick on the pre-show, they got the Ops, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Workhorsemen, Anthony Hendry and JD Drake. I think that match is going to be really, really damn good. Like, I think people should tune in to the pre-show. Like, all honesty, this isn't me shilling AEW. Like, I'm not paid or promoted to tell you all to go sign up to any streaming platform to watch the show or anything like that. But like, I'm really looking forward to the matches on this pre-show, in all honesty. Like, I think that tag team match is going to be awesome. I think the Workhorsemen, we were talking about the tag team division before, it'd be great to see them worked in as like a regular AEW tag team on the show. They've been one of the best tag teams for a very long time, as singles performers and tag team, both guys. But like, Workhorsemen are great. Like, obviously I think the Ops are going to win the match, but like, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to Shibata versus Daniel Garcia, which is also on the pre-show. Like, they got some really banger matches I'm assuming that's going to be free on YouTube, is where everyone can watch those. So
no, this pre-show is on TNT.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So go to TNT. Like, you're watching Dynamite, same channel as Dynamite.
Yeah.
And
Collision's on TNT. Dynamite's on TBS.
Oh, TBS. Sorry, I get those mixed up because those I usually do through the app on my anyway. Yeah, my bad. Same channel as Collision.
So yeah, the pre-show, these matches are on TNT. I think, according to some people, they're gonna have like a pre-show on YouTube that is more just like talking and everything. So if you wanna see the talking portion of things, I guess you can still watch that on YouTube. But if you want to watch the actual matches, that's gonna be on TNT.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, they got some match, and then they have a women's 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl match. So yeah, that'll be fun too. Like there's gonna be, yeah, I think the pre-show is actually that's 3, and they might even add more. You know what? See, everyone's getting on Tony Khan, and they're like, like, oh, Tony's a coward, and Tony got bullied. And I mean, I said a lot of this kind of stuff also. I don't really disagree with that. There's truth to it, but like he was put in the corner, he's between a rock and a hard place. No decision he made was going to be the right decision, whether he stayed head to head with WWE's show or he moved the show. What I think he's really doing is a big brain move, and he's going to start the show early, and he's going to run this thing through WrestlePalooza. Just start at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, run this thing till midnight Eastern time. Like just run it. Just give us you gave us the longest show already, Tony. Just double it. Just why not? Just do it. Do it for Jeremy. People like Jeremy love having to watch more wrestling and then like extend the post show, like longer press conferences afterwards.
Do not extend the press.
Give us, one by one, full on scrums with long form questions and drawn out, thought up answers.
That's exactly what he did today during the media call. That was an hour long and was so not noteworthy of anything. I don't care if the wrestling show is long. I've said this a million times. I'll repeat it here. I do not care if you run a 6-hour show, a 7-hour show. Start that shit at 3 o'clock. Start it at 2 o'clock, like they're doing. If this show goes 6 hours, I'm cool with that. I was cool with the length of All In. I was like, you know what? It was paced well. It was a great show. It started at a good time. And it ended, at like 9 o'clock or so, a little after 9 o'clock. It was every bit of a 6-hour show, but I didn't have any complaints about All In because it started at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was fine with that show. I'm fine if this is a 5-6 hour show because it's starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't need a 3-hour press conference. Absolutely not. And I definitely don't need these 5-hour shows that start at 8 o'clock. They run until 1 o'clock and everything. That's when I get a little annoyed at the show length because it's like, okay, it's now very late. Stop it. I don't want to stay up until 1 o'clock to watch the main event. I already did that once this month. I don't feel like doing it again. Okay.
Once what? AAA?
No, Crawford and Canelo.
Oh, I didn't know what time Dom and Vikingo ended. I know
that was about 1 o'clock too. Yeah.
That had been a late show. I actually fell asleep before the main event, and I wound up watching it when I woke up the next morning. I was like bobbing for apples, like trying to stay up to watch that match. I was like, but I mean, I get it. They're in the West Coast, they were late start. It's similar to watching a UFC event.
Yeah, it started at 10, and
yeah,
whatever. That still, I don't need it though. But that show was at least short enough. It wasn't a 4-hour show. I think that ended just after 1, which is fine. I just don't mind the length of the shows. I mind when they start. Run the show as long as you want. Just end it by a certain time. Start the show at 12 and run an 11-hour show. If you're done by 11, that's probably still way too long. But if you're done by 11 and I don't have anything to cover after that, I'm cool. 11 o'clock, fine, no problem. I can finish up my work night at 11 o'clock. I'm used to that with when Raw was 3 hours anyway, so 11 o'clock's not a big deal. Just don't start it so late. WrestlePalooza will be starting. Oh, I guess I should probably hit the bumper to alert fans that we're moving on.
I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes.
WrestlePalooza will be starting at 7 o'clock, and it will open with John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Ooh. I didn't know that was going to be opening the show.
Yes, that was announced.
I guess that means the main event's the tag match.
I would assume so, but they do like putting they do like putting the title match on last. In some cases, not all cases, but they typically like going with the world title match last. And Cody and Drew is a pretty big match. I think they need a strong segment tomorrow to really hammer this home, because I think Cody being off television for weeks at a time did not help. And it didn't help that Brock and Cena feels bigger and AJ's return feels much bigger.
See, I assumed that they were going to do Brock and Cena as the main event of this regardless.
That's what most people thought. And yeah, they came out today and said, no, it is going to open.
Did you ask me for my prediction for Brock Cena first?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to go with. I don't feel like there's any reason to have Brock win. Like, I have no idea how long Brock's going to be there. Obviously, the company, I would imagine they have an idea or maybe plans for what they're going to do with him going forward after this. But part of this to me also feels like it has to be a lot about like Cena wanting to have this match on his way out, just because like it's possible and like he's going to be done soon. And I don't want to see Cena like losing a bunch of matches on the way out. Not that he beat Logan Paul, and I thought that match was awesome. So like, that's great. And his second match with Cody was awesome too. Like his last two matches, his last two big matches have been great. Like, so, I think his match with Brock's going to be very good too. Like, I think they're going to play off the whole Suplex City thing. I think Brock's going to like beat the hell out of him, and then Cena's going to like, Hulk up basically. And like by the end of the match, he'll hit his 5 moves of doom and all that stuff. And like, he'll probably hit like some super AAs off the ropes, and, who knows, he'll do something and eventually slay the beast. So I think that, I'm going to go with John Cena to beat Brock Lesnar in this one. What about you?
I think Cena's going to win as well. Because I don't know what Lesnar's future is after this. I assume he's going to keep doing more stuff. I just don't know when. Whereas we know Cena, he's finishing up in December. It would feel weird to, kind of like you said, to have him lose a ton into his retirement match. It feels better to give him some victories going into the retirement match. And they've been really pushing the 100 PLE wins. And he's only got 3 more shots at it. He's got this weekend, he's got Crown Jewel, and he's got Survivor Series. So he's going to win one of those 3 matches, because they're going to give him that 100th PLE win. And against Brock, I think makes a ton of sense for it to be here.
I didn't even realize that. So that would be, if he beats Brock on this show, it'd be the 100th PLE win. Hello? Did I lose Jeremy, or am I off? Hello?
Yeah, I cut out. Sorry. What was that?
Oh, you're good. I was saying that so you're saying that if Cena wins this match against Brock, that's his 100th PLE win?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes it even more likely that Cena wins this match, because that's like a thing they can show the replay of over and over. And it's like, well, I say that like it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because like it's a historic thing because it's Brock Lesnar, but it's a bad thing that like if like things get any worse for like Brock or any of these situations, like if they can't use his footage, you don't really want him tied to like big moments. You know what I mean? So like, I guess there's, that's a whole other conversation, but I'm going to go with John Cena either way.
I'm going with Cena as well. The vacant women's championship, Io Sky and Stephanie Becker.
So I feel like because they've kind of like waited on like for Stephanie to do this, right? Like it feels, was she hurt or something recently?
No, I don't think Becker was hurt at all. She shot down rumors that she was hurt. I don't think they were waiting on her to do anything. It was Naomi got pregnant, because it was supposed to be Stephanie and Naomi at Clash in Paris, and then they delayed it. They just didn't do a match at Clash in Paris for the title, and then they just put it on this show instead. I don't think it had anything to do with Stephanie.
Okay, so I like Io a lot. I just feel like, she was the champion recently, like obviously, and Stephanie's new. It feels like like, I don't think she would have beat Naomi because Naomi had just started her title reign. But, like, you know, the WWE seems to be very high on Stephanie Vicaire. Like, even when they did that, like, Saudi Arabia WrestleMania announcement, she was one of the women, like, on the podium, like, with, like, the big stars of the company and everything. Like, they're so I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, if this is, it just feels like it's a lot really quickly for her. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe I just feel like she, like, rose the ranks super quick in the WWE women's division, which is a super, super, super stacked, like, every show with the WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, like, the talent pool of women is, like, through the roof, like, insane levels of talent. So, like, you know, it's impressive though, like, for her to, like, rise the ranks this quickly. And I feel like this, like, it just feels like they're kind of going back to the well with Io, which we just kind of had. And it's nothing against Io. It's just Stephanie is, like, a new kind of fresh thing. So I would go with Stephanie.
Yeah, I think Vicaire is going to win as well. I think there's going to be a little bit more story with Io, Asuka, and Kyrie, and then Rhea's getting inserted in there as well. I don't think that necessarily needs the title. I think Vicaire can kind of do something else with the title on the side. So we shall see if that is the way they go. But yeah, I think Io, or sorry, I think Vicaire is going to win this matchup. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed against the Usos.
So this is interesting because the Usos don't team very often, obviously, anymore. I think the last time was, like, around WrestleMania. So, you know, it's like it's a big thing for them to be teaming up again. On the other side, like, I wouldn't have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker losing very often. Like, they lost that match to was Roman and why am I blanking? The Roman Reigns tag team match. He beat it was on the pay-per-view, right?
Roman and Jay?
Yeah, it was Jay. I was blanking on who it was. Yeah, Roman and I couldn't remember who Roman was teaming with. It was Roman and Jay beat those guys at the last pay-per-view, beat the Vision, and Roman got his shoes back and everything. But so I guess I'm kind of torn but on the I guess the deciding factor though is I know that LA Knight has been, like, going back and forth with Jey Uso, and I don't know if they're working towards a Jey Uso heel turn or an LA Knight heel turn, but I think one of the two needs to turn if they're gonna go that direction and have, like, a one-on-one feud with either of them. And I could see LA Knight maybe even accidentally costing the Usos this match, but, like, I feel like the Vision needs to win. I really like the stable of Braun, and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. I like them a lot. So, like, I think that they should win this match, and I'm going to just predict that LA Knight, whether it's accidental or intentional, I think, like, he plays a factor in the finish. Maybe even after all this time, he joins the Vision. You know, that'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, it's not. I don't know if anyone's floated that idea. I just thought about that. That's actually not a bad idea. LA Knight. If you're going to turn LA Knight, like, he's the one who got kind of screwed out of the whole thing with, like, the fake injury and all this stuff. And I mean, he would look kind of a doofus sellout for, like, joining those guys after all that. But
yeah, I think if you're gonna turn him, just make him a heel and have him be a heel. You don't need to add him to this group.
Yeah. Well, who are you gonna take for the match? Do you think the Usos win or the Vision?
No, I think the Vision wins. I don't know if Jay is going to turn, but they are leaning a little bit more towards that. Maybe not even a turn, but just, like, him trying to find himself a little bit more. I think LA Knight is the better candidate to turn. I don't know if it's going to happen in this match because I don't know if him beating up Jey Uso, like, solidifies a real turn of things. But I think the Vision's going to win because at some point you got to get Roman back in the mix. And I don't know if this is a Roman return setup here, but it would not shock me if this is a setup for Roman to return. They continue to beat up the Usos after the match. Maybe they're beating up LA Knight too. LA Knight helps them, but they don't want LA Knight's help. He's not part of their group. Maybe they're beating him down too, and then we get Roman getting back in there.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna go with Division.
For the undisputed championship, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre.
I mean, I'm going to take Cody every single time. But as y'all know, I have a very short list of my favorites in the WWE, and my top 3 guys is Cody at the tippy top for sure. Top guy, unquestionably, like 100% Cody Rhodes. But underneath that is Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. If this was Drew McIntyre against anyone else in the entire company, I would be going for Drew and be like wishing that Drew McIntyre was going to win the undisputed WWE championship in this match. But it's Cody, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want Cody Rhodes to lose the championship. He's the man. He just had another kid, and he's a role model for all the children out there, and a great representative of our country. And I think that Cody Rhodes, should just continue on as the WWE champion, and there's no reason for him to lose to not only Drew McIntyre, but anybody on the WWE roster at any time in the foreseeable future. So I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes to retain the championship, but hopefully Drew McIntyre finds a lane to become a world champion at some point again. It's just going to have to be on whatever show Cody isn't on.
I think Drew McIntyre should win. I'm sure that doesn't shock you that I'm going against Cody.
I mean, do you think there's any chance of him winning? Logically?
I think yes, because Drew just keeps failing. And him continuing to fail isn't a good story. At some point, he has to win. At some point, he needs to make good on all of these threats to everybody. Because right now, he's just a giant dork who, I love Drew's promos. He does a great job adding extra heat to his feuds and to his rivalries, but he keeps losing all of his major matches. At some point, you got to win these matches. And it's the same thing with Cody with the first title reign is KO. It felt like KO should have ended that at one point. But I know they wanted to get to WrestleMania with Cena and everything, but it felt like KO should have won. Otherwise, KO just continued to be a loser, and that's what he was. I think Drew should win. And I do think there is a world where Drew wins because of reasons that I am saying. But there's also a world where Cody Rhodes is Cody Rhodes, and he's just going to hold the title until WrestleMania again.
Hell yeah. We got Cody Rhodes. Nightmare?
AJ Lee and CM Punk against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
Man, boy, do I hope that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch pull this one out. I mean, I feel like there's no way that Punk and AJ are going to lose after all this time and all this build up and all that. So we go CM Punk and AJ Lee is my prediction. What about you, Jeremy?
I think Punk and AJ are going to win. I do think there is a world where Seth and Becky win. And it's Seth hits a stomp on AJ, and then Punk has to feel remorseful that he's dragged his wife into all of this. Because I think things are continuing between all 4 of them after this, at least between Punk and Rollins, and maybe you can split AJ away from Punk after this if that's the way you play it. Because you can still split them if they win, but maybe it feels a little bit tougher to split them if they win. And it does feel like Becky and Seth will want probably a rematch, and you might just run it back at some point. But I think there's a world where to put some more heat on Becky and Seth, that they win this match. I'm not saying it's likely. I do think Punk and AJ win, but I could see the idea being floated by Michael Hayes of what if we do this, and then maybe Triple H, goes for it.
Yeah, the doot thing. Is it confirmed that AJ is full time? Like she's back full time?
I mean, more or less. No one's outright said it's a full-time thing, but she signed a contract. I don't think she was signing a contract for kind of a one-off thing. The way Punk is talking, the way AJ is talking, it's more than just one match. But neither of them have outright said like, hey, yeah, it's going to be a multiple type thing.
Right. I guess I'm interested. I talked about it last week. I'm interested to see what AJ Lee looks like in the ring. And I hope it isn't like, I hope it's not like too cutesy. Like I don't want to see them like just doing each other's moves the whole time and stuff, because I just know that's what we're gonna get. Like AJ Lee is gonna be going for like Anaconda Vices and like step up knees and go to sleeps, and CM Punk. I don't even know what AJ Lee's moves are. I don't even remember any notable moves that she did. But CM Punk will skip around the ring like her or something. I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know what it's gonna look like in ring. I think having Becky Lynch in there is a good, a good serviceable person who you know what you're getting with Becky in the ring, and I think AJ will be fine. I really think she'll be fine in this match. She'll probably have some nods. She might do the step up knee or something, but I don't think it's gonna be over the top with everything. I could be wrong. Maybe she just beat for beat does the same moves.
Well, we'll see. I'm not as excited as most people are for this return of this match.
You're a CM Punk hater, so.
Oh, come on, man. Don't blame that.
I mean,
our product is what it is. We're going straight up the middle.
Friend of the show, I can say that, right? Mads Krule Kruger is the new MLW champion. He finally cashed in his Gravity Gamble briefcase before the match for reasons, but he still made it count because he won the title from Matt Riddle, pinning Matt Riddle, and Donovan Dijak was the third man in the match. It was supposed to be Dijak against Riddle. Krule cashed in before the match and to make it a triple threat, and then Krule won, pinning Riddle.
Yes. Like right there at the end, Riddle hits his Brostone, his Brostone pile driver onto Dijak, and then Krule hits his Scorched Earth like on top of Dijak's body, but like onto Riddle, and then pins Riddle. So gets the actual pin, as you mentioned, on Matt Riddle, who was the champion coming into the match. The plan is, everybody, I did reach out to Krule. We're going to try to get him back on the show. He said he's very busy over the next month or so, but we're hoping maybe in like November, we'll get him back on to talk about the MLW title win, everything he's got going on since we talked to him last. And then, of course, whatever he's got going on in a month or so. But I'm very happy to see him finally win that championship. Like, I've been talking about that for a while. It had to have been around a year or so ago already that MLW had their show at Center Stage in Atlanta. And he wrestled Satoshi Kojima for the MLW World Championship. And that was the match where Krule threw like that fireball that wound up being like the Hogan Warrior Halloween Havoc 98 fireball. Like, it did not work out. And I'm not blaming Krule. It was just a bad idea. It was just an overbooked bad idea and a bad finish because the match wound up being like a no contest, if I remember correctly. Like, it just wasn't like that. Like, even back then, like that would have been like the right time to do it. And they prolonged him winning the championship. They wound up at some point between then and now, he wound up signing a deal with MLW. So that's, probably helped as well, like his commitment to the company and their commitment to him. But like, then he wound up winning that, I forgot what it's called. What was it called? The briefcase,
Gravity Gamble.
gravity gamble. And that's like a feast or fire type situation where there's like multiple briefcases above ladders, and like, you know, you kind of get random stuff depending on which one you grab. So luckily he got this. Now, parallel to all this happening, to be fair, like MLW did get Matt Riddle. I know that he's a divisive guy. I completely understand. I get it. But like MLW is looking at it as big former WWE star. Say what you want about him, but like RK Bro like was a really, really big thing not that long ago. Like he can have really good matches. He's in great, as long as he shows up, he's in great shape. So I get why MLW wanted to have him as their champion while they like had access to him. Like I get it, but I feel like that also prolonged Krule becoming their top guy. And now that Krule finally won, I'm very happy to see it. And they're already teasing, because it's already like they've already been having like back and forth between Krule and Dijak on the show, like building up to this. And then they were fighting each other again after the match, after Krule won the championship. The only critique I have of the title win was the commentary. I just don't think they put over like the win as much as they should have. Just my own personal opinion. Krule wins the title, and the commentary is just like, oh, damn, Krule's the champ now. Oh, Dijak and Krule are fighting now into the crowd. And it was just like, wait a second. Like, he just won the world championship. Like, this is a humongous deal. Like, why are y'all not, like, yelling right now? But anyways, I'm happy to see Krule win the championship. I think it's been a long time coming. He deserved it for a long time. And he's one of those guys, like, I have no idea at all, nor will I inquire about it. I have no clue how long he's signed exclusively to MLW, what his future plans are, or anything. But given his size, his athletic ability, his in-ring talent, his character development, you know, his veteran status, really at this point, he's been wrestling for a very long time. He was Logan Creed before all this, before the whole Krule thing. Like, he's a guy that, like, I would be shocked if when he became free again, if like AEW or WWE wasn't interested. Like, he just checks like every box. So like, I feel like MLW should just like push the hell out of Krule while they've got him. Maybe he sticks around in MLW and sticks around in the indie scene, because he's been very successful doing that for a long time. I have no idea what his prerogatives are, or what his opportunities are. I have no idea. But you know, if I was MLW, I would put this championship on him a year ago. But I'm glad it's fine. Better late than never. But I also think that some companies like have that issue. TNA is actually like super guilty of it consistently, of like waiting too long to pull the trigger on somebody. I felt like that was kind of the case for Krule, but I feel like there is future is still bright for Krule as a champion, because now he has the title. He has a built-in feud right there with Dijak. Dijak is linked with Bishop Dyer, who, like, Dyer versus Krule would be a banger. You have Hammerstone recently come back to MLW. Him and MJF have revived the dynasty. Like, Hammerstone versus Krule for the championship could be a banger. These are all, like, big men who can have really good matches against each other. So, like, you know, I think that Krule could have a really entertaining title reign with, like, given, like, the current MLW roster.
I think you're going to get Hammerstone against Krule, because in that fight between Dijak and Krule, you saw Hammerstone when they fought outside. He was kind of the closing shots of the show. He was taking them out with a chair. So I'd be very surprised. And Hammerstone also beat Justice in a Texas death match. So
on the same show.
Yeah, the whole promo with MJF as well, where Hammerstone was basically trying to reignite his fire with everything. So yeah, I think you're going to get Hammerstone and Krule at some point down the line as well.
Yeah. So MLW's in a good spot with Krule as their champion. They got a good roster, you know. I honestly think, like, because I've been covering MLW the whole time I've done the Weekender for all, which is, by the way, 2 episodes left, everybody, FightfulSelect.com. So the countdown is on. But, you know, covered MLW for the last 7 years doing that. And, like, I think that if, like, I would encourage people to watch MLW. Like, if you're a wrestling fan and you want more wrestling, I think they put on a good product. They have really good talent. They have really good production. They've been around a long time. I think that most people who consider themselves MLW fans are probably pretty, like, content with the product. Like they probably like what they watch most of the time. Like, and their shows are mainly on YouTube at this point, either live or pre-taped for free. So like, you know, I just want to throw that out there too. Like I think MLW is like a really, really good alternative product for people who might be like sick of WWE or AEW or just like want more wrestling.
Now let's go to the indie spotlight.
I'm gonna give a big motherfucking shout out.
Our pal Cole Radrick showed up to Rumble on the River, got involved, took photos, was looking pretty good, you know.
Hobbling a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know when he's supposed to be back, but it was good to see Cole get involved a little bit there.
It was wonderful. You know, Cole has become one of our, at least I can speak for myself, like, you know, one of our better like friends like that we've made like through doing this show. And I know you guys have your history, but you know, he's joined us so many times, and also he wanted to join us this week, but because of his, you know, his actual life and his shoot work and all that kind of stuff, he works late. So like he works until our show is over. He's like till like 9 or 10 p.m. our time, like before he even gets off work during the week now. So like
I'm gonna send him a nice message telling him that I love him.
There you go. So Cole, you know, we do want to have Cole on the show as soon as we can, or try to get something maybe pre-recorded with him sometime soon to air for you guys. It's been harder to get guests lately because of scheduling and because of my own schedule with my own shoot job, just so you guys know. I'm working on that. I will get y'all more guests more consistently again, I promise. This week, literally 3 people had to cancel for one reason or another. This terrible luck recently, but our good pal Cole, it was great to see him back, because not only was he back in front of his home people, like people of Indianapolis. He had the brass ring around his neck. Like he made it very clear, he made his intentions very clear that he wants to come back and be the GCW World Champion when he returns. I think he is probably still a little ways out, based on just the way he was kind of hobbling around. Nonetheless, it was good to see him walking around like without the assistance of like, you know, crutches or a wheelchair or something like that. Like it was good to see him, you know, moving around on his own, kind of jumping around. He helped Spider Nate Webb defeat Matt Cardona. And, you know, there's a few different ways that can go with Cole when he returns. Like, you know, does he come back and like, you know, right now, like there's a whole other side thing that we don't have to get into, but Jordan Price, Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, the Busta and the Brain, they recently lost the GCW tag titles to the Brothers of Funstruction. They lost the GCW and Juggalo Championship Wrestling titles back to them, as a part of this ongoing war that's going to hopefully finally once and for all culminate at War Games soon between JCW and GCW. But anyways, the reason I'm saying all this is because do we live in a world eventually where Cole Radrick returns? You know, Alec Price and Jordan Oliver are the GCW Tag Team Champions again. Cole Radrick becomes the GCW World Champion, and like, you know, they're kind of on top of the world, those 3 guys, because like, you know, obviously the garbage daddies before he was hurt and all that stuff. Or like, we got to remember, and this would be really long-term storytelling, Cole Radrick assisted Effie in winning the GCW World Championship. Like Cole Radrick is the one who could have cost Effie, and instead he handed him the guitar that Effie wound up using to become the GCW World Champion. Like, does Cole eventually return and like in his first night back, like he turns heel and screws Effie for the championship? Like there's a lot of ideas I have for like a heel Cole Radrick at the top of GCW, or as the good guy, lovable ratty daddy that, you know, we're all used to coming. Like you can go either way with it, and that's what's so intriguing to me. Like there would be reasons for him to do either when he returns, and all the power is in his hands because he gets to dictate when he cashes that thing in when he's healthy. So those are all things I want to talk to him about whenever we get him on here next.
He's a coward, and he's ducking me, clearly.
What do you mean?
He's not showing up. Clearly he's ducking me.
I mean, y'all could probably get him on In the Weeds because he'd probably be available in the morning before he goes into work.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, I want him on this show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, I want him on this show too. I told him I miss him in the DMs. But yeah, it was good to see him. It was good to see him back. You know, he's had a bad string of, like, he had that bad injury that he had to work his ass off to come back from, and then like came back, won the tag titles. Very good. Came back, won the tag titles. You know, all systems go, cooking with grease, just, you know, really doing great stuff. Him and Alec Price as the Garbage Daddies, and it looked like they were gearing up for I think they were going to do a ladder match between the Garbage Daddies and Violence is Forever. I think was it spring break? But they were setting up some big stuff for them, and then Cole unfortunately got injured badly again. So, you know, just a lot of unfortunate injury history for Cole Radrick in recent years. But when he's back, it's gonna be really good to see when he's back for real. When he's out there wrestling again. So, and the people he's in company with are like literally, like, y'all know I love Cole and he's one of my favorite guys to watch in the ring. But also like the guys like Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, like, so two of the best in-ring guys in the world right now, in my opinion. So like, if they want to do like a trios thing with them too, where like, you know, they're doing their own thing, or they're doing like mixing and matching those three guys, like doing different combinations of matches, like I'm all for that also, if they want to go that route too, for sure.
Best wishes to Cole. As much of a hard time as I give him, best wishes to Cole, and I look forward to his eventual return to this show. I don't care about his in-ring return. I care about getting him back on this show. Yes.
We need to do like one day we have to do like a spotlight, like Hall of Fame ceremony for like him and Mose, like the people who have like just been on the show so many times. And then like, as more and more people like keep returning for all the people who come back like 5+ times, will like give them like a gift card to DMBs or something.
We doing giving money to people just being on our shows.
Well, no. I guess that's technically like, that's like paying for guests, I guess, technically, which we do not do. But like, you know, I mean, that's why I said Dave and Buster's, because that's like joking around. But like, right. Yeah, give them I don't know. I don't know what we can give them. Something that does not have any actual monetary value, but that someone would actually maybe want. I don't know. Figure something out. Spotlight Hall of Fame, everybody. Cole Radrick and John Mosley, the first two inductees, whenever we wind up doing that.
All right, Jensen. Anything else before we get out of here? We got football to watch.
No, I think that's pretty much it. I usually think about something I wanted to say like right after the show's over, but like, you know, just everyone, like I said a minute ago, if you're a fan of the Fightful Select Weekender podcast, 2 more episodes. They'll most likely both be uploaded on Mondays. I know the Raw schedule is like wacky right now, so I don't know if like I've been uploading during Raw or like before Raw or after Raw. I don't even know. I've just been recording and uploading when I'm able to on Mondays. So look out for those. Just covering the world of independent pro wrestling. We'll continue to do that here on this show as well. Use code Fight Talk and Independent Wrestling .tv, and follow me on X at @FightTalk_. Skull Vikings. You know, hopefully that they can keep things going, bounce back. Carson Wentz, and hope everyone's doing good and has a good weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend, so hope you guys hope everyone's well. I got to see some buddies over the weekend. It was really good. I got to see some friends from like high school, came over and watched football and stuff. I've been getting in the mix again lately with like my buddies that I've like lost out touch with. We always stayed in touch through like old group chats and stuff like that. But like, we're finally getting to that age where it's like, why are we all not like getting together in person more often? Like, we're close enough. Like, even though the problem is like Atlanta is so huge that like you live in Atlanta, but you're actually an hour away. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there too. Like, if you have buddies around or people you haven't talked to in a while or whatever, hit them up. It it was really good to see like my friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, and like just kind of making that a more regular thing in my life again recently too. So got good stuff to look forward to out there.
Enjoy your weekend, Jensen. Hopefully the Vikings play better this weekend. I have no faith in my team, but what can you do? Folks, we will be back next week with a new episode recapping everything that went down this weekend in wrestling. I'll be back tomorrow right here, 10 a.m. Eastern, in the Weeds with Joel Pearl. Joel was live at Dynamite last night, so he will have a live review from the show. If you haven't already, check out our interview with Gates of Agony, Bishop Contola Leona. That was on today's show. Go check that out. It's about 2 hours into the show.
Wow.
So.
Oh, I thought you said the interview was 2 hours long. Sorry.
No.
I was like, damn, dude, that's wrong. That's tough, actually. Yeah.
It was about a 15-minute interview. It was about 2 hours into the show. Until then, everybody, we'll talk to y'all later on. Have a good weekend, everyone.